"It's boot polish," she said. I knew at once that she was right. It was boot polish. That was the scent that had escaped me, a scent which took me back to my childhood days, with my father standing with one foot on an old-fashioned boot box and fastidiously rubbing at his shoes. "But who in the world polishes boots in this house?" Mother said. "Not Holmes. He never polishes anything unless he's forced to do so." I must ask Annie. But the one thing I did not want was that Mother should ask Annie, or show her that glove. Luckily the collision and the resulting damage had delayed her somewhat, but I could now hear her slowly plodding up the stairs, ready to see the significance of that glove, or of the stains on it that Mother's older eyes had overlooked. Ready to run downstairs with it, examine it, talk it over. I thought desperately of some way to divert Mother's attention. She was still holding the glove, and Annie was on her way down the hall with a pitcher with which to fill the pans. "There's a new butler at Jim Wellington's, Mother," I said breathlessly. "And he blew up the kitchen range." "He what?" said Mother. "Blew up the range. I was walking by, and the explosion blew him and the oven door out onto the back porch." "And serves him right," said Mother, outraged at this crime against domestic order. I never heard of such a thing. It was a new range, too. They only bought it last year. But this expedient had had the proper effect. Glove in hand and still indignant, Mother watched Annie fill the radiator pan and then sailed back to her room. Inside it she looked absently at the glove, seemed surprised to find she still held it, and finally dropped it into her wastebasket. This did not mean necessarily that the glove was safe. Rather the contrary indeed, the Crescent expecting that its wastebaskets be emptied at night when the beds are turned down, just as it demands fresh towels in its bathrooms. And this waste goes into cans provided for the purpose at the extreme rear end of each property. Rain or shine, bright morning or late evening, our servants make these excursions. And I knew enough about police methods by that time to realize that examination of waste cans might well be a part of their routine. Even if the glove escaped Annie's sharp eyes, there was the question whether I could safely make a night trip for its recovery. Lightning did not strike twice, and I could hardly hope to repeat the Daltons' foolhardy and reckless excursion. I managed to drop the advertising portion of the paper into Mother's basket so that it covered the glove, And when Annie came up to turn down the beds, I waylaid her in the hall. "Annie," I said, "I don't think I'd go out by the rear door at night for a while. We don't know what all this is about, but it might not be safe." "I haven't any intention of doing that, Miss Louisa. Not with a murdering lunatic about." "You might suggest to Holmes that he bring the waste cans onto the kitchen porch." They're there now, miss," she said primly. "Although what your mother will say I don't know. I'll take the responsibility for that, Annie." She gave me a small and cynical smile. Both of us would get it, it implied, when the time came. But there was appreciation in it too. Annie and I understood each other. "Very well, Miss Louisa," she said. "And it's Mary's evening out, and she says she's going out by the front door. I suppose you haven't a key for it?" "You know very well that I have no key for it, Annie." She was standing beside me with the coffee tray in her hands, and I was surprised a look of sympathy on her face. She knew that I had no key, had never had a key of my own. "I've told her I'd wait up, so she needn't ring the bell, miss. She'll be back at 11. I agreed, of course. It meant that I, too, must wait until 11 or later before I could retrieve the glove, but there was nothing else to do. And I have reported this conversation in detail because it led to what was to be the most exciting night of my life up to that time. Chapter 14. I got Mother to bed by 10 o'clock, putting her book and her glasses on the table beside her, along with her folded clean handkerchief and her glass of water. Her prayer book, of course, always lay there. And as I did it, I wondered about Miss Emily next door. What was she feeling that night, after all her years of service? Was she utterly lost? Or was there some sense of relief from the demands of that petulant and querulous old woman, with the stick by her bed with which to summon Emily remorselessly, day or night? She had built herself no life at all, had Emily, save for her incessant reading, her trips to the library for books.